Senator Alex Padilla of California joins me now. Senator Padilla, I think this is I understand the strategy on trying to make sure you figure out how to keep some of these centrists on board with reconciliation. But this does feel like the living example of cutting off your nose to spite your face. Why is tanking that bill tomorrow the right way to get reconciliation done?
So, look, I think the real question is, what part of an agreement have people forgotten? When we were first advancing the bipartisan part one of the two-part infrastructure package, it was clear. It was clear to members of the Senate, in the House, and to the president that we were on a dual track. The first piece, whatever we could negotiate on a bipartisan basis, we would support, but it was with the understanding that in the budget reconciliation package, part two of infrastructure, we would go even bigger and bolder on so many things that are urgently needed across the country. Like hurricanes in the southeast, flooding in the northeast. The West is on fire. Yes, we need to tackle climate change. We want to get the economy back on track. Really hard for people to get back to work if childcare and the overall care economy isn't included. I can go through example after example of why we need funds.
I guess the question I have, though, is why, if the trust issue is this fragile among progressives and centrists, where you just don't trust them to work with you if you get this bill passed tomorrow, how do you expect to get on the same page anyway? I mean, it feels like the more people dig in their heels, the more people want to dig in their heels.
Yeah, well, I think it's maybe a little mix. Certainly, there's the drama that's playing out at the surface level and in the public, but behind the scenes, I do see a lot of work happening to get to yes on everything, whether it's the bipartisan deal, the reconciliation package. Everybody understands how critically important it is and how urgent it is. You know, let me give you just two more examples. Housing. Right. As I've traveled throughout the state of California and frankly throughout the country, most major cities are experiencing epic homelessness. And we need to address that through housing policy and housing investments. Healthcare. My God, if we've learned nothing else from this pandemic, it's the need to modernize our healthcare system and grow capacity for our growing population. So that I think is a sentiment shared by my colleagues, at least on my side of the aisle, right, in both houses, which is why I'm confident that we're going to have some drama. It'll be a roller coaster a few weeks, but it's going to get done.
The larger bill is going to get smaller. The question is, how much smaller does it get in order to what's the magic number that gets 50 on board? And with that, if you and I knew the answer to that, we wouldn't be talking about it right now, right? But we know it's going to get smaller.
We'd be meeting in Las Vegas, Chuck. We'd be meeting in Las Vegas.
Exactly. What is your attitude when it comes to trimming this bill, your ambition? Do you try to cut out certain programs that you just don't do a few things well, fully, or do you try to do a bunch of stuff, but maybe it's means tested, maybe it's over a 2 or 3 year period? Where's your head of how to rein in ambition if the cost of this bill is going to go down?
Yeah, well, first let me start by recognizing that this $3.5 trillion figure, number one, is already a compromise, right? Senator Sanders, the chair of the Budget Committee in the Senate, initially had a $6 trillion proposal, which I supported, again, because of the urgent need to invest in all aspects of infrastructure. How do we get the number from 6 to 3.5 in a responsible way? It was, massaging, tweaking. To your point, do we fully fund 10 years of a certain program, or, let's narrow it to 6 or 5 and add some means testing along the way? There's different ways to massage the number, but I don't think we restrict the areas of impact that we are trying to make. So, and we're going to do it right. The other key piece here, let's not misrepresent that this $3.5 trillion is $3.5 trillion of additional deficit spending. As much as I think there's a little bit more room on the credit card, there is a plan to cover the bill here. So anybody suggesting otherwise or expressing concern about the nation's deficit is off point right here. This is a paid-for plan, and it's urgently needed.
Very quickly, speaking of the debt and the issue of the debt limit, Why isn't there an alternative plan right now being floated by Democrats that essentially eliminates, this ridiculous hostage taking is ridiculous. It only feeds cynicism of government. It's a useless, we know all this. Why isn't the response to this, okay, fine, we'll do it, and we're going to do it for the very last time, and we're never doing this again?
Look, we can't let Mitch McConnell and Republicans off the hook. The votes are there to raise the debt ceiling on the floor of the Senate. And how cynical is it to even obstruct letting Democrats do with Democratic-only votes what even Mitch McConnell is suggesting be done in terms of raising the debt ceiling? So, we'll power through it. There's always more than multiple parliamentary procedural ways to get it done. And we'll do what we need to do in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Well, it is interesting. I do think Mitch McConnell's words could be used by Democrats to say, hey, look, when they need government to work, even Mitch McConnell asks the Democrats to make government work. It's an odd piece of leverage that I don't know quite what he thinks he's getting there. Anyway, Senator Padilla, Democrat from California, thank you for coming on and sharing your perspective.
Talk to you soon, Chuck.